Chapter 1. The Ban. There is one place on Earth where you cannot live or buy land. Mining for gold, oil or minerals is not allowed there. Remarkably, every major government agreed to these rules. In 1959, during the peak of the Cold War, countries that were prepared for nuclear conflict came together and made an agreement over a frozen desert. But why did this happen? The official explanation is that it was to protect the penguins and support scientific research. However, closing off an entire continent raises questions that go beyond just science. Something mysterious was discovered beneath the ice, a revelation so significant it could alter humanity's understanding of our place in the universe. Hidden under the frozen expanse, scientists uncovered ancient structures, suggesting a previously unknown civilization long before recorded history. If you look at travel brochures, Antarctica seems like a paradise and a place of peace. But when you examine the details of the Antarctic Treaty, the restrictions seem much stricter. Article 1. No military measures. Article 5. No nuclear explosions. For civilians, the rules are even stricter. You can book a cruise, sure, but you will stay on the coast. You must follow a pre-approved route. You cannot simply pack your bag and walk inland. Antarctica is the only continent where it has been confirmed that coal, oil and uranium worth billions or even trillions lie beneath the ice. These estimates are based on extensive geological surveys and scientific expeditions conducted over the decades, which have unearthed samples and data pointing to the abundance of these resources. Humans are greedy. We drill the Arctic, we burn the Amazon, we scrape the bottom of the ocean. Yet for 60 years, even as global demand for resources has increased, no country has publicly tried to mine in Antarctica. Are we really supposed to believe that the United States, Russia, China and Europe, all of which compete in almost everything, have left these resources untouched out of goodwill? No. Countries do not usually sign treaties like this only for peace. They sign them out of fear. To understand that fear, we have to go back to 1947. A military expedition, backed by the world's most powerful nations, pushed into Antarctica with ambitions beyond science. And it didn't end the way they expected. In Chapter 2, we'll look at what happened out there in the ice. Chapter 2. The Invasion. World War II had just ended. The world was exhausted, but as the world tried to recover, the United States Navy launched one final invasion. It was called Operation Highjump. The operation was officially stated to be for training personnel and testing equipment in freezing conditions. However, it also included objectives such as conducting scientific research and comprehensive mapping of the region. These additional goals aim to further understand the polar environment and its challenges, thereby justifying the mission's large and complex nature. But sending 4,700 men, a submarine, and an aircraft carrier full of combat planes seems like more than just a test. That kind of firepower is usually sent when you expect a fight. Taking the lead was Admiral Richard E. Byrd. He was known as both a hero and an explorer. He understood the polar region better than anyone else. But even with all his experience, something felt different this time. The fleet arrived in December 1946. They planned to stay for 8 months. They built a base. They started flying surveillance missions over the deep interior, into places no one had ever seen before. Soon, their preparations faced unexpected challenges. The weather turned violent, communication failed, and then the losses began. On December 30th, a patrol plane, George I, went down. 3 men died. The survivors described a sudden storm that swatted them from the sky. So after only 8 weeks of what was supposed to be an 8-month mission, Admiral Byrd gave the order to retreat. They left everything behind: equipment, supplies, fuel. They ran. On the way back, before heading home, Byrd stopped in Chile and gave a mysterious interview to a local newspaper. He didn't talk about penguins or weather patterns. In a cryptic message, Admiral Byrd cautioned that the United States should prepare for threats from a new kind of enemy. He suggested that this enemy could fly from one pole to the other at incredible speed. His words left many to wonder about the identity of this formidable foe. Who was he talking about? The Nazis? The Soviets? Or something else entirely? According to the pilots who flew over the interior, the ice wasn't the only thing waiting for them down there. Chapter 3: The Secret. Admiral Byrd's warning about an enemy flying from pole to pole didn't make sense, unless he wasn't talking about our atmosphere at all. This idea isn't new. Conspiracy theorists have long claimed that Byrd left a secret diary, which allegedly describes his astonishing journey. According to these claims, the diary surfaced years after Byrd's expeditions and reveals that he flew into a giant chasm at the South Pole. Once inside, he witnessed an unanticipated world, where ice gave way to green forests spreading out ahead of him in an impossible landscape. There were mammoths too, creatures thought lost to time, roaming free. And, according to the diary, he found a civilization hiding inside the earth. This civilization was unlike anything known to man, with architecture resembling crystalline structures glistening under an otherworldly light. Their technology appeared to merge seamlessly with nature, suggesting an advanced understanding of energy and ecology. The inhabitants themselves were described as ethereal, with an aura of wisdom and an appearance that defied ordinary human description. Sounds crazy? Maybe. But Byrd wasn't the first to search for those secrets. Years earlier, another expedition had set out. 8 years before the Americans arrived, in 1938, the Nazis were already there. Amid their expansive ambitions, Germany launched an expedition to Antarctica to establish a foothold on the icy continent. They sent a colossal expedition, complete with researchers and military personnel, to claim a large portion of the continent for the Reich. This mission aimed to explore territorial expansion and rumored strategic advantages hidden beneath the ice sheets. Intelligence reports from the time mention Station 211, a secret base built in caverns under the ice, warmed by geothermal vents. Did they find the entrance? Is that why the United States rushed down there with an aircraft carrier in 1947? And is that why, to this day, no planes are allowed to fly directly over the pole? Satellites don't image it clearly. Google Earth blurs it out. We are told the treaty protects the ice, yet whispers of its true purpose are cloaked in secrecy, leading some to speculate about the hidden agendas at play. But when you think about the military fleets, the secret diaries, and the unexplained panic of 1947, you have to ask, is the treaty keeping us out? Or is it keeping something else in?